I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. I am reasonable. I am very reasonable. Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. On a scale from 1 to Danny DeVito, because we keeping this episode short. How reasonable have we been this week, huh? How reasonable have we been this week? So the reason why this is going to be a short episode is, for one, it's hot. You know what I'm saying? You know what Glorilla say? It's 9 a.m. on Wednesday. It's 95 degrees. I gotta tape this podcast. But okay. The reason why it's gonna be a shorter episode rather. I think y'all know I get to talking and then I'll look up and it'd be an hour and 10 minutes. And I'll be like, but when? Where? How? And now I gotta edit it. Oh my God. But the way y'all be showing appreciation is simply motivation to keep going. So thank you. The reason why this is going to be a short episode, though, is because this past weekend I was in San Francisco. Thank you so much, everybody that came out to San Francisco. Really appreciate you. And when I landed back in Los Angeles Sunday morning, my youngest brother also flew in. And we met at the airport, and he has been visiting for the past few days. He's been visiting for the past few days, and so I'm trying to handle work. I'm trying to be a good host, because, you know, I can't have him going back to my mom like, Zainab's house was boring. No. Okay, especially when my little sister got a whole pool, an arcade, all of that type of stuff. The least I could do is give them some personality, right? But then I have to fly to Thursday. Tomorrow I have to fly to Kansas City to do a private event. I believe it's private. It's a charity event, actually. So not a club. Anybody in Kansas City, like, wait, you coming to Kansas City? It's a charity event. And so I'm not sure who can attend, but I will be in Kansas City Thursday doing a charity event. And then I'll be in Richmond Saturday. And so I just have like stuff to do. My younger brother and I, we going to see Party Next Door. Now, I don't really know none of Party Next Door's music. Clearly, I'm in between hair. I got to go get my hair braided tomorrow. So much to do. So I got to keep it short. So let's get right into it. Also, ain't it crazy that I always feel like I'm in between hair days on when I'm taping my podcast, you know, which is crazy. Like, I have to get my hair done at the beginning of the week. Most people be getting a new hairstyle like on the end of the week, the weekend, right? Because that makes the most sense. That's when you're not working. But for me, it's the opposite. Like, for the most part, I am in a different city on the weekends, you know, and I can't go to a city and it's like my schedule is backwards. I'm a morning person. I love getting up and having today I woke up at 5:30 this morning. I've been up ever since. And I like having a productive day. Like when the sun rises, I like making my Fajr prayer. So what? My shoulders are out. So what? I woke up this morning and made my Fajr prayer. I actually didn't know, this is not going to be the short episode that I intended. I actually did not know that SZA was raised Muslim. And someone sent me kind of like a compilation of all the times that she has spoken publicly about growing up Muslim and where she is at with her, if she still identifies as Muslim or where she is with her practice. And she said that sometimes she does wear hijab. And I really kind of paid attention to that part because I was like, yeah, I'm so interested in hearing like her perspective on it. And she was like that she does, you know. I think kind of in the same way as me. Like, of course, you're not going to, you got to wear a hijab when you go to the masjid. You have to wear a hijab when you're doing certain things. When I'm performing, even if it is a specific like Islamic event, I won't wear a hijab because I don't like to misrepresent. I want to come in truth. I think that is part of Islam, is to come in truth. And I don't want to misrepresent. I don't want to pretend that I'm doing something or being some way that I'm not, you know? And so anyway, so she said that the reason why she doesn't is because, she don't want to be up on stage. She said, I don't want to be up on stage performing with Travis Scott, disrespecting my hijab. And I said, well, I got to go listen to Travis Scott's music. I don't know these artists enough to understand why that's a problem. But anywho, my life is kind of like the opposite, is what I was saying. It's like I wake up early in the morning, like early, I like waking up early, period. But also Fajr prayer is pretty early. But then primarily, and I'm working during the day. Obviously, I take my podcast most times during the day. I'm doing so much work in the world of like my career as an entrepreneur, as a comedian, as a writer, as an actor, like as a performer. There's a lot of work to be done during the day so that we can then be successful when we get on stage at night. But I got to get on stage at night. So it's like, anywho. Speaking of getting on stage at night, this weekend I will be, for one night, I'll be in Richmond, Virginia for one night only. It's 2 shows. It's an early show and a late show, but it's one night only. Saturday, June 29th, I will be in Virginia, at Richmond, in Richmond, Virginia at the Funny Bone. And then July 12th and 13th, I will be in Virginia Beach. July 18th, Columbus, Ohio. July 19th and 20th, Cleveland, Ohio. July 24th, Los Angeles. Okay, so July 24th, I'll be in Los Angeles doing a show at the Improv. And I really, whenever I'm like working out my hour, whenever I'm like, inviting people so that they could come and watch and kind of give me feedback, I typically book in the lab. The lab is a smaller room. Which seats maybe like 65 people or something like that. So what I love about y'all is y'all sold out the lab so fast that they automatically moved me to the bigger room. And I was like, hold up, what? And they was like, your show is a month out. We still have people calling us interested, and you sold out really quickly. And so I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. So now, if you looked at the Los Angeles date and it was sold out, if you saw last week it was sold out, just know now that there's more tickets because they moved me into the main room at the Improv. So now there's more seats, so get more tickets. That's July 24th at the Improv in Los Angeles, California. Then July 31st, I'll be at Guild Hall in East Hampton, New York. August 1st, one night only, Boston, Massachusetts. August 2nd and 3rd, West Nyack, New York. August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. August 22nd through the 24th, I'll be in Chicago, Illinois. September 13th and 14th, Bloomington, Indiana. September 18th, one night only, Raleigh, North Carolina. September 19th through the 21st. September 19th, 2021. 21st, because y'all know I got to give DC 3 nights. I'll be in Washington, D.C. September 19th through the 21st. September 27th through and 28th, I will be in St. Paul, Minneapolis, September 27th and 28th. October 17th through the 19th. 17th, 18th, and 19th, I'll be in Philly. So get your proposals ready. Whatever. October 25th and 26th, I will be in Detroit. November 15th and 16th, I will be in Paris. November 18th through the 23rd, I will be in London. And then November 29th through December 1st, I will be in Ontario, California. December 4th, Austin, Texas. That will be my first time in Austin. One night only, Austin, Texas, December 4th. And then I will end my year of performing. December, I think. I said that, right? It's like, but who knows? December 6th through the 8th, I will be in Houston, Texas. So get those tickets. The link is in the details of this podcast. Y'all, I look like I am at my house, but I look like I know how to I look like I either got like a remedy for you, right? Like I look like I know the fountain of youth. Or like you could come over my house and it's gonna be smelling like a mix of like citrus and sage, right? That's what I look like. Like, yeah, I got something fruity for you, but I got something real earthy for you. I got something real clearing, okay? That's what I look like. And then I look like, sit down, I look like I got fruit on the counter, right? Like I'm gonna wash you up some organic blueberries and sit them out for you, offer you some tea. Would you like some tea? And the tea is going to be loose leaf, right? That's what I look like right now. In my little house dress and because I have conditioner. I have my Donna's recipe, because you know Tab Tab. I got my Donna. Actually, after I took those braids out, it'd be hard the product that they be putting on the braids, it's like I almost couldn't comb through my hair. I was like, whoo. But let me just tell you what, and this is not, she is my friend and I do love her. And I'm not saying it just because, and if you ask her, she knows I'm tough. I don't do stuff just to do it. I won't, the slip of Donna's recipe conditioner, creamy conditioner, the slip, let me tell y'all, I was able to, I had to detangle, but I was able to get through my hair. My course my hair is so weird. Some places it's like 4A, some places it's 4C. Like my hair is wet, it's like 4A hair. Once it dry, is there like a 5F? My hair is so interesting. Anyway, I was able to get through it with the tiny rat tooth comb. But I have the conditioner on it right now because I'm multitasking for the day. I got to get stuff done. Anywho, the tickets. The link to the tickets to my shows are in the details of this podcast. So just go ahead and click on it. Get yourself some tickets, okay? Like, share, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now. Go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And, it always helps if you are telling people about the podcast. In the same way I was just like, the slip on that. Now somebody who maybe never even knew about Donna's recipe or knows about it but has been hesitant to try it is like, you know what? Let me try. You know what I'm saying? So word of mouth is much more powerful than anything else. Anything else. Word of mouth. Personal testimony. Personal conviction. So if you like what you're hearing, share it. Tell somebody. Be like, yo, are you listening to the Zaynab's podcast? First of all, you got to be reasonable. And if you're not reasonable, it'll help you become reasonable, hopefully. Anyway, let's get into what's up with Z. What's up with me? So my lease is coming to an end. I drive a Tesla, and I've had it for 2.5 years, I believe. And this was actually a first for me. It was a first in 2 different departments. Well, 3 departments, I guess. It was my first time engaging with the Tesla brand. It was my first time driving, operating an electric vehicle, and it was my first time signing a lease for a car. All of my cars before this lease, I owned. I bought those cars. And so it was a first for me. And I could easily just get another Tesla because they incentivize when you turn in your lease. I don't know if because like I said, this is my first lease, but the process of the Tesla is all through the Tesla app. A lot of it, like you can buy a vehicle from Tesla. I'm not sure if you could do this with anybody else, but you could buy a vehicle from Tesla and you never have to see anybody. You could do it right through your phone, 10 minutes. And they'll drop it off at the address. You never have to engage with a person, which is, but as I'm setting up my return, they really incentivize you because they want to keep you, like everybody, like any brand, wants repeat customers, right? Even me, I want you guys to come back and listen to every episode. That's the hope. That's the goal, so I could easily get another Tesla. And we can talk about like how terrible Elon Musk is. Like we can have that conversation. But even if he was Mother Teresa, I can't even say Mother Teresa, right? We found out all of these people are like kind of shitty. Anyway, But even if he was the pillar of good deeds and a saint and doing everything right, I don't think I have any brand loyalty to Tesla. And I say that because I only say that to say that, like, yeah, I just want to try something else. Like, I think that was what leasing, that's why leasing appealed to me, you know, like, oh, I don't have to commit really long to this like one car or one brand or whatever. What I do know is that I really like electric. I was really liking electric during the times of the past, you know, two to 3 years where the gas prices, especially in California, was hitting $7. And my cars before my Tesla were BMW. So, you know, I was hitting that premium gas. I was driving by my Tesla, like seeing whenever a gas station, you see a gas station and the gas would be like $4.59, $4.99, and then have a line of cars around the block. I'm like, whew, I don't want to have to deal with that. I really liked the convenience that the Tesla provided. I didn't have to carry a car key anymore. Like, everything was literally through my phone. If I was away from home, this is sound like a Tesla commercial, it's not. But if I was away from home, you know, my sister, if she was in town, I could just give her access via my phone and make her phone the key card for the car, you know, the key for the car. And then she could operate the vehicle. Like, it just was really convenient, almost too convenient. So now that I have to turn it in, I have to figure out what's going to be the next vehicle. I have to get a vehicle. I live in Los Angeles, California. It is possible to get around on public transportation. It is possible to allow Uber and Lyft to be your means for transportation. However, I like a little bit more control than that. And so I need to get another car, and I don't know which one to get. I want to stay electric, or worst case scenario, go hybrid. And so this is where you guys come in and help me. Hashtag in the comments, what's up with Z, and give me car recommendations. If you guys feel like you've been driving an electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle, and you feel like, you know, you want to recommend it, like, please recommend it. Tell me why. You know, like, give me the details, give me the experience, please. It would be the same as me going to read Car and Driver. And I don't know none of them people, but us, we got kind of a relationship, right? So yeah, make your suggestions. And please, you guys, as much as I appreciate you, as we already at 20 as much as I appreciate you, don't do me like how y'all do food. I'll be like, y'all recommend me some food, send me some food recommendations. I'm in your city. You know, I like healthy. I like this. I like that. Y'all be like, oh, this rib spot is the best. Oh, this lobster spot. Let me tell you, I know you think lobster is healthy, but it's not. Because I ain't never seen nobody eat lobster without the butter. Why I had to say butter like that? The butter. I welcome the car recommendations. Again, I would like to stay electric or at least go hybrid. And you could recommend, like, I don't care. Don't feel like, oh, this might be too expensive or too inexpensive. Let me make that call, okay? All right, let's get into the main topics. I'm only going to do one main topic today so that I can do an Ask Z, because some of y'all was like, wait a second, ain't no Ask Z, girl. That's the part that I be tuning in for. Somebody was like, girl, that's the T. And I'm like, okay, so should we gatekeep? My friend actually posed this question. My friend, very funny comedian, Sydney Washington. She was like, you know, is gatekeeping good or bad? And I think just that blanket statement, it seems like, well, right, we're all better if we share. We're all better off if we share knowledge, if we share information, right? Like, it seems like it, right? But I think like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever like the weather broke in most of the country, meaning like it got hot and it stayed hot. A block party in Brooklyn got kind of out of hand. If you're not from, I don't know if they do this anywhere else. I've seen like a slight attempt at it in LA, but in New York, and maybe they do it like in Philly and Jersey and stuff, like cities that are also like New York in a way. But in New York, in like, you're gonna find a lot of block parties. That's how I grew up. It's you just going to a block party. Like in the summertime, you ain't going, especially you a kid. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to no club. It's too hot to go to a club for what? All this beautiful weather. The sun is out until 9:30. Why would we go inside? Why would we go inside, pay a cover, and pay for drinks and stuff like that when we could just barricade the block? We could socialize within the community. We can invite people. We can have our own DJs. We could, it's really communal. And so that's a regular occurrence in New York City. I'm sure you guys have seen in Spike Lee movies where they start a block party. Somebody takes, opens up the fire hydrant. That's what's happening during the day. Then it goes, throughout the night. So these things have gotten trendy. Like there's certain ways where groups have monetized them, which I think is like a cool thing. Very entrepreneurial. And so I think a week or so ago on Tompkins Ave in Brooklyn, which there was a block party, and someone shared it on TikTok. And it went from having, a few people to being to looking like the Million Man March. Like really looking like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that picture. Somebody showed me the picture of when, I can't remember what it was in history, but people decided to walk the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was so many people on the bridge that it kind of flattened out. The Golden Gate Bridge is kind of like an arch, and it kind of flattened out because so many people was on it. Now, obviously, Tompkins Ave this block party doesn't span the same distance as a Golden Gate Bridge. Sorry, my foot is itching. But it was packed. It was packed. And so my friend posed the question, the reason why it was packed is because when whoever posted it, it went viral, right? And so a lot of people started showing up, right? And this thing that was maybe a neighborhood secret, or kind of everybody, when you from a city, everybody in that city know the spots to go to. But if it goes viral on TikTok, it almost can get out of control. I remember a few years ago, I had posted a clip on TikTok, and within 24 hours, it had 1 million likes, right? And so a club, and I had 2 shows in Seattle, and the club called me and was like, oh, our site is about to crash because the tickets are selling so fast, right? It's it's good, but it can, in my case, it was not bad. There was nothing bad about it. But in terms of the block party, a few things happen. One, it becomes less enjoyable, right? If I'm going there to hang out, I'm going there to have a good time, I'm going there to be outside, I'm going there to dance, I'm going there to socialize, and I can't do none of that because there's so many of us here that you know what I'm saying? You can't even really walk or move freely. Well, then especially it's hot, it's this ain't even fun. I can't even get a glimpse of you from across the, you know what I'm saying, from across the road, because I can't even see your outfit, because it's I mean, we packed in here like sardines. You know what I'm saying? Also, what happened is a lot of the people who live on Tompkins Ave started to complain. Now, this is the biggest issue, but it's a separate issue, right? So, yeah, when things get popular, it's a good and bad thing. It means that it's successful. It means that it's sought after. And the people who throw this event, that's what they want. They have to just figure out how to sort of control that. That's it. They have to figure out how to keep the buzz, keep the interest, but control the environment. That's it. It was just like a surprise. So many people showed up. So that's the only reason why the environment wasn't controlled. But next time they'll anticipate. It's like, yeah, we've been doing this. We've been doing this for years and only 100 people showed up. But now it's 3,000 people on the street. So next time we'll plan for that. We'll plan for much more people. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's a very simple fix. So I don't think that things need to be gatekept. It's also the same as like, I think about this sometimes, although I never do it. Like, oh, I like a place and I don't want to tell people. I don't want to tell people that I like the place because I don't want to then have a hard time getting a reservation or something like that. Or when somebody does your hair well, right? And it's like, dang, if I tell everybody who's doing my hair, they gonna go, they gonna flood her, and then she ain't gonna have enough room for me in her schedule. And here's the thing. I just look at that as like, look at the blessing that you've given someone else. And usually people make allowances for the person that caused the splurge of positivity in their life, right? So like a girl did my hair some years back during the pandemic. She did my hair knotless box braids, really long, kind of like a brown color, really, really beautiful. And actually this picture, and she did my hair and I just posted it. I posted a video and, I think cause it was so neat and laid so flat, I posted a video and and tagged her and she got flooded. And she thanked me. She was like, she hit me and was like, let me know when you want to get your hair. Because for her, it's like she's appreciative. So she's like, I'm going to make room and time for you if you want it. She was like, but thanks to your post, and I didn't know that people was going, I just thought I looked cute that day. And I made like a stupid video, like, right? Like the new hair, who this video. It wasn't that, but it was like what we all want to do when we got a beat face or a new hairstyle. We want to be in front of, we want people to see, right? This how much I like talking to y'all. This how much I like doing this, because I did not want y'all to see this. I would prefer if this did not live on the internet, but you know what? We got to get stuff done. Anywho, but she said to me, thanks to your post, I can, pay my rent for the rest of the year. And it's like, even if I could never get an appointment with her again, I can't be mad at that. I can't be, you know what I'm saying? I can't be. So I think that gatekeeping for the most part is unbecoming and it's unreasonable, And I think you can consider yourself, if you are always able to find like the good things, the good products, the good services, it's like, all right, then you share it with the world and you move on and you find your next thing. And I know it can feel annoying or whatever, or feel like work, but it's like, listen, that's a gift that you got. And I think to be mindful of our gifts and to share our gifts is very, very, very reasonable. Now, the neighbors complaining, of course, that's unreasonable. The neighbors trying to get things put in place by the city, so going the bureaucratic and the legal route to hinder block parties from happening, that's wild. And I'm going to go ahead and just say racist. And the reason why I have to say that is because I know what the neighbors look like and I know what the people at the block party looks like. And here's the thing. When you move into neighborhoods, Brooklyn didn't always look like the Brooklyn that we see now. Harlem did not, I'd be running in Harlem, it'd be all white people running. Harlem did not look like that. When I first moved to Harlem from Brooklyn when I was 4 years old, it was crack vials in the street. That's the first time I saw crack vials. It was crack vials in the puddle. You step in the puddle, when you're trying to get from the sidewalk onto the street, you step in the puddle, crack vials. Different color, little vials. I'm like, oh, that's what that New Jack City movie meant. Oh, shoot. Looked up and realized I live 3 blocks from the Carter. But when you move into a neighborhood, you are an outsider. And I think that it is unreasonable for you to expect or even try to change what is a regular occurrence in that neighborhood, especially if that regular occurrence is not causing harm. Sure, if I move into a crime-ridden neighborhood and I'm trying to get them to stop killing each other, then yeah, that makes sense. Now I'm Michelle Pfeiffer of the hood. But and let me just tell you what, I can get the frustration of being at your house, being in your apartment, and needing to get to the corner store, and you walk outside and it is gridlocked with people. That's frustrating. That's a nuisance. But that's going to be a nuisance for a few days, for a small season. And if you can't recognize the joy and the fellowship that's happening, and, you know, decide, you know what, the most reasonable thing for me to do is, I don't know, maybe join the block party. Maybe order Uber Eats and have them work through this foot traffic. Or like, oh, shoot, I learned something new about this community in which I moved in. When I first moved into my, I live like in LA proper, right? Like I don't live in a valley. I live in a community where, I mean, yes, it's being gentrified. But I live in a community where LA natives live. Not a community where people, I don't live in an area where transplants live. Like I live amongst Los Angeles locals for the most part. And as much as I look like them, as much as, you know, my neighbor across the street is a black woman. My neighbor to the left of me is Latin family, you know, I believe a Mexican family, and the little Spanish girl 2 houses down, she came to my house like 2 weeks ago, right? In the front of my house is a lime tree. So she came to my house and she was trying to get the limes off the tree, and I was just opening my blinds, and so she saw me and she thought she got in trouble, and she was like, "I'm so sorry. Can I just please have some limes?" And I'm like, I always choose lemon over limes, right? But the lemon tree is in the back. And so I was like, yeah, you can have limes. It ain't really my tree. It's like it grows over onto my property, but it's actually not my tree. It's my neighbor's tree. And so I said, yeah, you can have some limes. I was like, but do you want lemons? I got lemons in the back if you want to come in the back and get some lemons. The moment it left my mouth, I was on the phone with my friend. The moment it left my mouth, I was like, oh my God, I sound like a predator. Because I just invited a little girl to the back of my house for some lemons. Yo, we was laughing, but I was like, I gotta be very mindful. Like, as much as I am not, like, no. Be very careful and be very mindful, right? Anywho. And so she was a smart little girl, though. Appreciate that. Smart little girl. She was like, no, I'll just go for the lemons. And in my mind, I was like, I'm happy, because if I were, you know what I'm saying? We don't want our kids out here. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent. So I get some limes for the little girl. I'm tall, so I was like trying to get the ones that were high up on it, the ones that were the most ripe. And some that were really ripe, they weren't, they were really high up. I went in the house, got the ladder, came back out. I was like, yo, I told her, I was like, okay, put your foot on the ladder. Make sure I don't fall off this ladder, because I don't want to fall trying to get you some limes. Gave her a bunch of limes, right? She was like, oh my God, you're so nice, right? Little kid. She probably think I'm much younger than I am. Anywho, so the other day she comes back, yesterday actually. Sunday she comes back. I had just got back in from San Francisco, and she comes to my door and she was like, do you mind if we get some lemons? And I said, you mean limes? Because before, when I said lemons, she was like, no, limes. And she told me she wanted the limes because they was making tacos, whatever, right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, you can have as many limes as you want. And then I told her, I was like, actually, that's not really my tree. I said, it grows over onto my property. I was like, but it's not my tree. I said, so you might just want to go to, I said my neighbor's name. I was like, you might just want to go knock on her door and see if they're okay with you taking some limes. I was like, and I'll look and see if there's some like ripe ones. And so she was like, oh, no, yeah, I know them, and you know, whatever. She starts talking about their dogs and stuff like that. And she was like, but no, she was like, we want lemons. And I was like, it's like I heard her say it, but it didn't really compute to me. And so I was looking up at the tree, and I was like, you know, these limes, like, you see, they're still really tiny, like they're not ready to be like picked yet. And she said, oh, no, I know. And so she repeated herself. She was like, didn't you say you have a lemon tree in the back? And I said, oh, yeah. She said, so my mom asked me if you wouldn't mind, you know, giving us some lemons off the tree. And I said, oh, no, I don't mind at all. And listen, the lemons on my tree are huge, juicy, huge and juicy and free. The lemons in the store, every grocery store, them lemons is tiny and they're expensive. I remember when lemons used to cost 20 cents, 25 cents. Now lemons be $1.25. Small, hard lemons. My lemons are huge, thick-skinned, juicy, almost like it's a grapefruit. It's like, anywho. And so I said, oh, yeah. So I go in the back and I got her 4 big lemons off the tree. And so I brought them back out to her. And I was like, go see if that's enough for your mom. Ask her if that's enough. If not, you come back and I'll give you some more. And she was like, oh, my God, they're so big. I was like, I know. So you need help carrying them, but you want to come take 2 at a time? Because she was on a scooter. I say all of that. I'm way off on a tangent. My whole point is as much as I look like some of my directly adjacent neighbors, I am still an outsider. I'm the one new to the neighborhood. When I first moved here, I'll never forget, when I moved in, it was fireworks. They was doing fireworks. It was like a holiday weekend. They was doing fireworks. And I'm like, oh, it's all good. It's a holiday weekend, right? It's like, yeah, it's a Sunday night. They doing fireworks. Cool. Then Monday came. It's still a holiday, but it was fireworks at night, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. It's, you know, it's a 3-day weekend. Cool. Then Tuesday came, and they was still doing fireworks. Then Wednesday came. They was still doing fireworks. I mean, let me tell you, this was my first experience. Did I knock on anybody's door? No. I just gave them grace. Let me sit back and relax. Yeah, I would like to go to sleep and I hear them firecrackers, but I'll figure out a way. I got noise canceling headphone. I got a lot of stuff to make myself comfortable, to figure out my way through a situation. Also, let me look outside. Is anybody else bothered? Is anybody else who's been here for a longer period of time than I have? Are they out in the street with their house slippers on and they head scarves talking about we got to do something about this? No. So let me pay attention. Let me learn about the people, because as much as they are people of color, I'm from New York City. My behavior, my habits are a bit different. I'm new to this. Oh, no, the next sentence is going to be, they true to this. What? But I'm saying I gave them grace. I had to ask myself, how many days could I tolerate the fireworks? Like, how many days was I willing to let it happen before I went to their house and was like, can you kind of tell me what's happening? Like, what's going on, you know? But then it's like, yeah, then the next day there was nothing. And now I know that in the summertime and during certain holidays, Cinco de Mayo, during 4th of July, it's going to be an abundance of fireworks. That's what happens here. Now I know, cool. And so if you are someone who is an outsider and moved in, and it actually don't matter. It doesn't matter your ethnic makeup. That's the reason why I'm saying, like, essentially I'm the same as them. Just identity wise, you get what I'm saying? Culturally, we're more similar. We're all people of, you know, the 2 neighbors I'm talking about were people of color, or rather the neighbors I'm talking about, they were people of color, you know? So it's like you have to exercise a certain amount of grace regardless of what they look like. But I just know sometimes white people, and I got to talk to y'all, and y'all know we have open dialogue. with love. I'm here to like teach y'all and help y'all and talk to y'all. Y'all be at my shows supporting me. Like, I love it. But you do something very specific. You lean on when you are dissatisfied in a situation. You lean on a systemic entity that will enforce your preference for comfort over someone else's. And that's severely unreasonable. I'm going to end it there because this is already... Let's get into this Ask Z. So remember last week I showed y'all the Ask Z and it was so long. Oh my God. So we're going to get into that one real quick. So this one, the way the person wrote it, it was a lot to read. And so I'm going to just try to get through it. But it's not a complicated ask, but it was a kind of complicated read. I appreciate you writing in. Let's just get into it. I have is it reasonable that I was extremely mad at a coworker? Do I want to drop dimes on everyone? I think they meant like they don't want to drop dimes on everyone, but I'm going to do a lot of like correcting to like make sense of what's written. And so I hope I'm getting it right. I hope that I'm getting it right. Give me some grace. But I'm going to keep it anonymous. Okay, so they don't want to drop dimes on everyone, so they're going to keep it anonymous. I got to work, get keys to van. This done randomly. So I guess the keys that they get to the van is done randomly. It's a delivery service, an LLC, for a very, very large parent company. Probably Amazon. But okay. They are numbered vans in numbered slots. We can't make it any easier, right? Wrong. Laugh out loud. Now, what I love when y'all write Ask Z's, I love how your personality comes through in the writing. And you know, that is how we speak. Like, and so it couldn't have been easy. And that sounds very simple, right? No. That's basically what they're saying. The van is not in slot 17. The guy driving van 18 is in slot next to 17. To me, slot 18 should be next to slot 17, right? Because if we're just counting like sequentially, yeah, 18 comes after 17, 17 comes before 18. But okay, I'm not sure what they're saying, but clearly something is wrong, right? A truck ain't where a truck is supposed to be. So I feel like I passed 4th grade and I'm not crazy, laugh out loud. The last 2 times this happened, the vehicle was over at the warehouse with the packages, Amazon. So what I do being smart and proactive, but unknowingly stupid, I get a ride to the warehouse to pick up the van. The van is not there. So when they get to the warehouse, this is something they shouldn't have did. They at work and the truck ain't where it's supposed to be. And so last time this happened, the truck was somewhere else. And so they, trying to be proactive and smart, go to where the truck was last time. It wasn't where it was supposed to be. But they ain't supposed to do that. We're going to find out later. They get a ride to the warehouse to pick up the van. The van is not there. They call, maybe on a cell phone or what, I don't know, the report. And they call and report that they can't find the van. They get told it's there. So they walk back and it's not in the slot. Now in all caps, what has to understood to comprehend the magnitude of my frustration and anger. Okay, this is what has to be understood to comprehend the magnitude of their frustration and anger. What's coming up? Companies, so this is what we got to understand why they so mad. Companies are clocking people's productivity. Amazon. Sorry. I'm so sorry. And y'all know I'm employed by Amazon. So I shouldn't be saying it either. I should have kept the company anonymous, but it's like, if this ain't Amazon, who is it? Companies are clocking people's productivity down to minutes and seconds. Every sub and every microprocess, referred to in this employment as tack times. At this point, I'm late. At this point, they late to start loading because they went over to the warehouse to try and get that other truck, right? That's why they saying unknowingly stupid. Like unknowingly, they shouldn't have done that. So coworker says, you're late, I'm going to have to send you home. So I was 100 out of 10 pissed. Now, y'all know, if you got 10, 100 far exceeds 10. So they was pissed 10 times over. How many times has a coworker or management's little mistakes cost you big or had huge implications in your life? That has happened. I tell a really quick story. I was filming a TV show, not on Amazon. I was filming a TV show, and one of my coworkers brought something to my attention that I agreed with, a problem that I agreed with. As soon as the director came into the trailer, I was like, hey, this is a problem. I turned and looked at her and was like, right? And she looked like we never had the conversation. I said, okay, never again. I learned today. Ha! Anywho, so I do get what you're saying. I went off on how unethical 100 plus fuck ways this was going down to the point where he was like, I'll let you work. Okay, so he went off on his manager. And was like, it's so unethical. It's not my fault. Blah, 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 blah. This keeps happening. It's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know whose fault it is. Then I tried to be proactive and fix it without making a problem. And now you're trying to send me home. You docking me and trying to send me home. No. And so as he's flipping on him, the manager is like, you know what? I'm going to just let you work. Forget it. I'm not going to send you home. I'm going to just let you work. And so when the manager says to him, I'm going to let you work, he's like, I'm assuming this is a he. He's like, let me work. Let me work. That's the thing. You know when you already hot, when you already got a problem and somebody make it seem like they giving you permission, it's like on any other day, you wouldn't even take it so personal, but it's just like when something traumatic is happening, those trigger words be triggering. Oh, you gonna let me work. Who are you, God? You gonna let me work. What the F? Let me, oh, hell no. Laugh out loud. Needless to say, I said, I'm going to get paid for this time. And ain't no shit gonna happen until I talk to senior management. He went above. Whoever was telling him, we just gonna have to send you home. Matter of fact, forget it, we gonna let you stay. He said, first of all, I am gonna get paid, and ain't nothing moving forward until I talk to somebody who's above you. So bring them over. I know in this big world, I'm average or below average. That one sentence made me sad. And I thought this was the most unreasonable sentence. Let me put my notifications on silent. Can y'all see, am I getting sweaty? Because it's so hot and I have the AC off right now because I'm taping. Anywho. But it was the most unreasonable thing you said, actually, more unreasonable than your punctuation in this damn Ask Z. But I'm average or below average. I think sometimes we walk around in life thinking that. We might think we're average or below average because that's the messaging we're getting from the world, because our life doesn't seem as glamorous as somebody else's, or we're not making the same amount, but like, somebody got to get the package to the heart surgeon. It's like we're all little, what are those things called? Oh, God, it's right. Why am I not? We're all little nuts. Not pause, but we're all little screws, right? In a big machine of like this world turning. Every single one of us are screws. Nobody's a bigger screw. It don't matter if they got more money. It doesn't matter if society seems to respect them more. We're all little screws. Somebody got to make the thing, get it to the delivery service, to get it to the person that changes something significant in our life. You get what I'm saying? So you're not below average. You're not average. You are an important part of the infrastructure that keeps us moving. And I'd like you to remember that. Like when you go to work, remember that. Remember that. Even if you got to affirm yourself and say that before you should, if you got to look at you know what I'm saying? If you got to look in the mirror before you leave your bathroom, look in the mirror in your car and be like, I'm a very important part of this process. Regardless if anybody knows it, I'm a very important part of this process. And I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability. And I'm going to demand the respect that I deserve. I'm average or below average, but this world makes you feel like dirt. Was I right for being mad? So you see how it's like that was a pretty lengthy letter and tasking to read and decipher. However, the question is really simple. I'm gonna tell y'all this time and time again. Mad is an emotion. Every emotion is valid. Emotions are very different than actions. When I ask you if you're being reasonable, I'm very rarely asking you if you had the right to feel how you feel. I'm more so asking you if the choice you made, given how you felt, was reasonable. So yeah, of course, be mad. We understand in this letter, this ain't the first time it happened. And you tried to be proactive because you ain't trying to cause no trouble, because you feel like you're in this whole thing, you're not as significant. So you tried to fix the problem that you did not cause before anybody else realizes that it's a problem. You went above and beyond. And so after doing that, for someone to have a position of authority over you, to say, you know what, no, you were late, so we got to send you home, to dismiss your efforts with no empathy, no grace, and no further explanation, for you to be mad at that seems like a no-brainer. It seems like the body is processing in a very reasonable way. Now, if you decided to shoot up the shipping facility, if you decided to slice the tires on every single truck, then I'd be like, all right, now you're being a bit unreasonable. If you decided to go into Amazon and John Q the whole operation, then I'd be like, well, now hold on a second. You're being unreasonable. But to be mad that you were essentially mistreated at work is not unreasonable at all. And I'm glad that you spoke up for yourself. I'm not sure how, there are ways in which we could flip. Sometimes we got so much sauce, right? Like, sometimes we be like, ooh, I can't wait to flip on somebody because I know how quick and I know how sharp my tongue is. And I can't wait to put my talent to good use, right? Because you're not really using it in some other part of your life. And so all it takes is for somebody to piss you off, for you to be like, ooh, I can't wait to lean into that part of me that could just cut somebody down with words. Right? Sometimes that's not the best. Most times that's not the best thing. Most times the best thing is to figure out how to best communicate so that the person you are trying to be understood by actually understands you. Sometimes it don't work. Sometimes you try, it don't work. And the only option is to flip the lid, you know? And that is understandable when it happens. You know, I've snapped. Well, you know, seems like what I say in the intro, you were in a very unreasonable situation. But yeah, being mad is fine. But now you know, if this happens, this is like, I don't work in this type of environment, obviously, but I know that it is important to make sure when things like this happen, like as much as you like gave him a piece of your mind, as much as you was like, you gonna let me work, as long as you know you stood your ground and got things fixed in your favor, make sure it's documented. Make sure, like, don't say documented, make sure you get a copy of how it's documented. That's like the advice, the practical and actionable advice that I could give you given this letter. I hope this helped. That's it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. Yo, we got this debate. We got this first presidential debate coming up with our current president, Joe Biden, and former President Donald Trump. And I can't wait to get into this. I don't know. Maybe... I mean, I want to say, maybe I'll release like a second episode in between this week and next week's, but I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. So we'll talk about it next week if not, but I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Stay cool, stay hydrated, try to be reasonable. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah.